Welcome to Profieltraders. This is Reza and you're listening to my market analysis for Friday the 20th. Wednesday, as I was expecting, the Federal Reserve came out and they had absolutely zero possibility of even slightly considering a rate hike, and I explained the reasons why in detail in my previous recaps. But to give you a little summary, the Federal Reserve has been dealing with a completely uncontrolled and unexpected rise of the US dollar that is tremendously pressuring manufacturing and export in the United States. Number two, you have a very severe economic slowdown all across the globe. Our own economy here is growing at an anemic 2%, and that is including trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that it's artificially injected on an annual basis to keep this economy going. You would take that money off the picture, our economy would probably growing at 0% or no growth at all. You add that to the fact that the Federal Reserve knows extraordinarily well that these unemployment numbers of 5.6 or whatever it is, it's all a big lie. There is no such a thing as 5.6% unemployment in the United States. 90% plus of all the jobs created are minimum wage jobs that are barely paying enough to sustain one single individual, not to say a whole family. Our labor participation is at record low. Household income in the last 4 years has shrinked by $4,000, the first time ever in our history that household income is shrinking. On and on and on and on and on, I can go on. Therefore, it was a very predictable thing that the Federal Reserve, despite the fact that they sent all their bulldogs here and there, muscling and hustling and telling how the rate's gonna go up sooner than later, it was all baloney. The market knew. All they needed to see is a little bit of a confirmation coming out of the mouth of that woman Yellen in order to get the orgy and the party going on the upside, and that's exactly what happened. As soon as they saw that there is no such a thing as a fantasy idea of Federal Reserve talking about rate hikes. Matter of fact, let me tell you something more. You will not gonna see a rate hikes in the next 10 years. 10 years. The days that you are going to get money in exchange of your deposit into a bank, those days are gone, my dear. If anything, they're gonna charge you money to keep your cash into a bank. So, orgy going on. Everything is beautiful. Money is available, unlimited, for corporations to go buy back their shares. Banks are gonna get deposits from the Federal Reserves to go gamble. Dollar, weekend or no weekend, it really doesn't matter as long as it's printed and it's out there for people to blow it and for people to waste it and spend it. That's all that matters. So market went up significantly on Wednesday. We got a little bit of a consolidation in this last three sessions, and then finally on Thursday night overnight we got a burst to the upside, which was then backed by further push on the upside as well, with a close at the middle. Obviously we are all concerned with 21.15.5, which is the previous record high we have seen. It is very possible that we are going to breach that high and then fail from that point on and create a bull trap for a correction. On the other hand, if we do not even attempt to reach 12.21, 12.5 to 21.15 up there, and we come overnight on Monday morning and we look at our overnight and we see that there was absolutely no appetite to take this thing up on during the overnight of Sunday, most likely Monday we are going to get a retracement back down. So from here, it's very, very critical that the buyers constantly hold the market, because we are at such grotesque level on these equity markets that unless they artificially continue to maintain it, this thing could be wide open for a good old-fashioned correction. For now, obviously 2100 is key, and we went out of it but came out and closed slightly below it. Again, if Sunday we get away from 2100 on the downside, this is further confirmation that this pop out of 2100 was nothing but a trap, but that needs to be seen. As price is at the middle of the day's range on a closing basis, obviously the day high and the day low becomes a massive amount of support resistance, and nothing will happen until we either exit 2106.75 for a test of the POC up there at 2112 and change, and then the record high 2115.5. A break below 2092 should then take us to 2087.5, and then the POC down there at 2084.25. But for now, you cannot argue the orgy go on, or the orgy must go on, as the song would say. For crude, I have not changed my mind at all. You are dealing with a completely, totally chaotic, irrational, crazy, program trade controlled, agenda based market. How do we punish Russia? How do we punish Iran? How do we punish Venezuela? And then as we will punish price, at sometimes it becomes so darn cheap that some hedge fund buyer steps in, put the feet on the pedal, and bam, 2 points, 1.5 points up. As it goes up, then the Federal Reserves and the government step in, knock it down so that it won't go too up. It's a mess, to tell you the truth. Don't hang in to anything more than few minutes, because if you don't, it's gone. You can have a profit on a runner, 70 ticks, 80 ticks, you go grab a glass of water, come back, you're down 60 ticks. That's how aggressive this market is, and it's definitely not a market for the wussies and the faint of heart, because it's a market that you have to trade with relatively large stops in order to have a chance to survive. So on the upside, it is very clear that 47.5 is now significant resistance, significant. And for them to break that, we need to have something really fundamentally important to be able to justify the break on the upside. Other than that, if we cannot break significantly from here, I'm expecting that we are going to come back again for the test of possibly this 44.30 level. So below 46.20 on the downside, I'm expecting 45.65. Past 45.65, I'm expecting 44.80. And then past 44.80, I'm expecting 44.3. Above 47.50, I'm expecting at first 48.55, and then there is a POC up there at 49 and change, which should be a fabulous selling point. 49.30, the blue line up there. As for gold, a little bit of justice is done to it. As I kept telling you there is no need, there is no reason, there is no justification, there is absolutely zero reason why day in and day out, for whatever reason, this asset has been punished. Now finally, as we heard how confused and how desperate and how out of control these Federal Reserve idiots have been, money poured into gold for good reason, and I believe it is dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. It's the cheapest asset in my opinion out there, and I believe it is a 1,000 times better proposal in my personal humble opinion than the stock market on current valuation. Extraction cost of gold is $12.50. I can care less about the bogus phony balonies that the Federal Reserves are giving you about their inflation, unemployment. Everything is a big lie. There is an absolute shortage of physical gold out there. I can care less what they do with this toilet paper contract of gold. The reality is that moving forward in the future, this asset will only go up, because every single paper currency is only good for one thing: wipe your butt with it. As far as support now, 1177 is now very important support. If we reject back below it, next target will be to delete this minus development to 68.6. And if we do break 68.6, then I'm afraid that we are going to come for a retest of 1160, at which point 1160 to 1155 will produce a hefty colossal amount of support. Between 60 to 55. On the way up, of course, 1200 is not too far. We have a POC up there at 1198.5, and then 1200. Once we get to 1200, we shall analyze to see if it has now become a little bit too tired after such a run from the low, or if it's going to consolidate below it in order to try to break through it. So resistance now 1187.6, support 1177. You are dealing with a very nicely tight bracket here, which either side break should give us the next follow through. Thank you for listening. As always, this was Reza with Profieltraders. If you wish to join my trading community, learn market profile trading, access our trading room for live analysis, live trade calls, check my website. You can get all my 5 courses and a year to my live trading room for $550. Thank you. Have a great weekend. And also, it's money back guaranteed. In case you don't like what you purchased, you have 30 days to try it, and if not happy, every single penny you paid will be returned to you, and I think it's a very fair proposal. So take a look at it. Have a great weekend.